Hey everybody, welcome to the Mainstream Mortgages Podcast. I'm Derek Vandall and I'm here with my business partners Peter Paley and Colten Boudreau. Today we are going to be talking about realtors, all about realtors. So without further ado, I'm just going to jump right into the first question. This one is for Colten. What does an ideal realtor and broker relationship look like from a mortgage broker's perspective?
From our end, I would just say constant communication, to be honest with you. It seems simple, but I think it's super important. When the handoff happens from the realtor to us about getting pre-approved, all the way through to writing an offer, right? What house are you writing on? What amount can they go up to? Things like that, right? I think just communication throughout the entire process is super, super important.
And Peter, what do you think that would look like, or an ideal relationship would look like from the realtor's perspective? Is it just the
I
same thing, or?
No, I think it's all about information combined with that communication piece. Like the more information we have as the brokers about the house, and the more information that the realtor has about the clients and what they can do, and if there's any backup plans, it really forms a really great collaborative environment. And it also is really good for a realtor to know from information perspective, if the clients are qualifying for any grants, if there's any extra hurdles that we're going to need to cross during the application process, and how much we can do in advance of them writing the offer.
That's a good point. Follow-up question to that is, how much information are we supposed to share with the realtor with regards to our client? Like, is there something we shouldn't share?
Well, I think you have to be really careful when it's verging on personal information. I mean, in like exact specifics of things, but if there's going to be a hurdle, like there's no harm in letting the realtor know we might have a hurdle or two to overcome. So instead of having the approval in 12 hours, which we do often, it might take 12 or 24 hours or 96 hours. Like we might need extra time on the financing. So it's really important for them to know that information up front, because if they're going to be writing an offer on a house that has 15, 20 offers, they may choose not to, just because they know that that financing condition time isn't going to be a reality in that competitive environment.
Right. I can imagine being a realtor and being told by the mortgage broker that, they need an extension on the financing. A lot of the times, if the realtor doesn't have a reason why, it's kind of hard to get that extension, right? So they need at least some information. I agree with that. Colton, if communication is like the biggest piece for the relationship between a mortgage broker and a realtor, can you give us like maybe one or two of the biggest communication breakdowns that might hurt clients the most?
Yeah, so I think there's a couple examples you could go with. Like Peter said, if there's an exception needs to be made on the file, right? And it might take a little longer. That's super important to, and why not tell the realtor, right? Like just to for them to keep in mind, like this might take a little longer. Also, if there's an appraisal that needed to be involved, that could extend your financing or take a little bit longer. So I think it's super important to be upfront about that as well, saying, hey, we have the approval, but now we just need the appraisal. We need another day or two, and this will be signed and sealed as long as that appraisal report goes through okay, right?
Right. And Peter, what are some of the myths or misunderstandings that realtors sometimes have about mortgages?
Well, I think going back to my information piece that I'm going to be driving through this podcast, I don't think there's really too many myths, but I feel like there's a lot of misunderstandings about programs that are available for borrowers. And one is borrowed down payment. Your clients can borrow all or some of their down payment and closing costs when purchasing the house. Purchase plus improvements, I think there's a big misunderstanding when it comes to purchase plus improvements. Maybe a realtor has a client that's losing out on a lot of offers because they're limited by purchase price or area or any other reason, but maybe you can buy something that can be improved. And I think the big misunderstanding with purchase plus improvements is that we need the quotes for all the improvements and renovations up front. So you kind of need to get it done before you even write the offer. And then we need to make sure that all those improvements are actually adding value to the house. So, for example, if you buy a house with a foundation crack, it might not qualify under purchase plus improvements. But you want to buy a house that has a really dated kitchen and flooring and update them, then that will qualify under purchase plus improvements. So I think just having as much information about different products and programs would probably help uh, 75 or 80% of the realtors out there to do more business.
Yeah, and it just brings it right back to what you said earlier about the information piece and that being so important. Colton, I know like your mom and your brother are both realtors, so maybe you have some better insight about this. What are some of the misunderstandings that you think mortgage brokers have about realtors?
Oh boy, put me on the spot here.
Yeah.
I think I would allude to the information piece as well. I think the good realtors do inform their clients a lot of information on properties, what they're looking for. No, it's not just a sale, right? It's not just a sale. It's a really big purchase in in our clients' lives. So the good realtors know that, and they advise their clients appropriately and provide really good information. Whereas, like Peter said, if there's a foundation crack, like maybe we should steer away from this property, right? Like, could we get it fixed? Maybe, yes. Is it going to be a big deal down the road? Who knows, right? But like having that conversation up front, for example, I think is super important.
Yeah, that's a good point. And it brings me to the next question, which I maybe you guys already answered it, but maybe you have some more input that you want to say about it. Why do some deals sometimes fall apart? And what part of that, I guess more specifically, what part of a deal falling apart is preventable with better teamwork?
I don't know
Peter.
if I can answer that because none of my deals fall apart, but just kidding. But let's in reality, like um, this whole mortgage process is a real journey, and it really works great when everybody on the team is working together. So um, back to information. While the realtor also needs information, the mortgage broker also needs information that the clients are going to write an offer tonight. Maybe we can get the MLS listing ahead of time along with the property disclosure statement to make sure there isn't any defects that are going to affect the mortgage approval process. What's a defect? Aluminum wiring, knob and tube wiring, asbestos, and a lot of other little things that are lender specific that a realtor may not know that a certain lender isn't going to give you financing because there's a holding tank instead of a septic field, right? Like there's a lot of like little things that if we're prepared, that's really going to help us out. Deals fall apart, I would say mainly from it's not getting a really good pre-approval from someone who's a real mortgage professional. And I'm going to toot our horn here because we really put a lot of effort into our pre-approvals. We verify everything up front, income, down payment, credit. We fix credit if necessary. We tell people what they shouldn't do after they get pre-approved, which includes buying a new car, changing jobs, quitting your job, spending your down payment, going on vacation. There's like a list of about 50 things we have that people shouldn't do. And my biggest reason I think why a deal falls apart is unpreparedness, especially with a lot of newer professionals in the industry. And I'm going to say realtors and mortgage brokers, just not having that experience or getting that exhilaration from your first or second deal and just going out there and writing an offer and not really doing a great job protecting your client. And I think we've all been there. I've been there. I've been doing this for 30 years. You guys have been there. I've seen you guys do it. And I mean, we're all there, but if we're all working together as a team and we do that preparation piece in advance, I don't think there's any reason why a deal should fall apart. Um, oh, can I just add one more thing? I think
Yep.
unconditional offers are also a big reason why deals fall apart.
Mhm.
Um, and not from the sense that the pre-approval can't be trusted, but we can take the deal so far and verify everything, but I can't predict that the appraisal is going to come in a lot lower than the price that you offered, and I can't predict that the appraiser isn't going to uncover a defect that could make the whole deal fall apart.
Right. And even though, as mortgage brokers, we do have multiple different options for clients in those cases to, save the deal. But, we can only work so much magic, right?
Seriously.
Colton, here's an interesting question. Um, what do you wish more realtors knew about the current mortgage environment?
What do I wish they knew? Um, I think probably I would just say how many tools in the tool belt that we actually have and we can do for our clients. Peter kind of touched on this a little earlier, but about the grants we can use, purchase plus improvements. If you're self-employed, like the bank statement approach, stuff like that, right? There's a lot of different ways we can get clients approved for a mortgage. And I think not that they need to know that, but I think it would help them maybe with their business. No, like when a potential client does come to them up front and say, I have A, B, and C, and then that realtor be able to like, oh, I know the mortgage broker that can look into this, right? Like, I think just being able to place your client with certain mortgage brokers in themselves would be super helpful.
Yeah, I could see a realtor even getting more business by knowing more of the different products and programs because they're not turning away as many people, or maybe they're even if they don't turn somebody away, they might find a really great solution for that client, which the client would obviously be really appreciative about for their realtor bringing up to them, right? So that makes sense. Peter, let's flip that. What do you think more mortgage brokers should understand about the real estate market?
I really think we should learn how to do a realtor's job from start to finish so we know what they're going through. Like, I mean, it's easy. Like, we just sort of sit at our desk all day and type away. Like, the realtors have to get up early. They have to go show their clients houses all over the city. There's a lot of driving. There's a lot of driving. It is very high pressure. I mean, even like this year, we've seen multiple offers like crazy, like some houses getting 10, 15, or 20 offers. And I mean, you're showing a buyer a house, like houses like 20, 30 times before they hit. I mean, we have clients we've had in our pre-approval column for almost 2 years now, and they're just unsuccessful, and maybe they're not willing to write $100,000 over the asking prices we've seen this year. And I also think that a big misunderstanding for brokers is because mortgage brokering is low cost compared to realtors. Like realtors are paying some pretty big fees. I mean, their licensing fees are higher. They also have continuing education that they have to do, and their brokerage splits can be like tens of thousands of dollars a year. And I think it's really good for us to put our feet in their shoes to understand how high pressure their job is. And that translates to more pressure for us because our job as a partner for a realtor is to make sure that their clients are as ready as possible. And when we get that offer to purchase, we just basically have to hit the submit button and try to get it done as soon as possible, efficiently as possible, without any hiccups.
Right. So as a mortgage broker, our job is kind of not just to make the process smooth for the client, but we want to try to make it as smooth and stress-free for the realtor too, because like you said, they have so much other stuff going on as well. Speaking of stress, let's ask Peter this one again. What is the one thing that a realtor might do that instantly stresses out a mortgage broker?
Mm, Okay, this is like probably my biggest pet peeve. No, I have two pet peeves. One, asking me if they can write unconditional. No, you cannot. I am never going to ever give you my blessing to write unconditional. No matter how good the file is, it can still fall apart on the property end of things. So if you want to write an unconditional offer, you will need to have that conversation with your client who will need to understand the risks involved, which is your job as the agent, not my job as the mortgage professional. You need to explain the contractual risks. And if your client's okay with them risking their deposit money or whatever, that's fine by me. In fact, to be honest with you, I prefer getting unconditional offers because I don't like having the time crunch, but I also want to protect our clients. So um, I don't mind hustling when we need to. And I think my second biggest pet peeve is I'm gonna add a third pet peeve too after this. But my
And
second,
do you have any
my
stories? If you can think of a specific story, that would be
oh
great too.
probably I can
Yeah.
probably think of a lot of stories. So my second biggest pet peeve is oh I lost it. I'll go to my third
Sorry.
pet peeve was when we're getting information about the property, MLS listings aren't filled out. Age of the property isn't there. Land size often isn't there. Legal description is never there. There's a lot of things that it would be really helpful if the realtor could put in their listing. And we get pushback and they're like, oh, well, we can be sued if we're wrong. Well, you can put a little disclosure in the statement saying information on square footage or land size received from the municipality, um, age received from the municipality. Like it's just like a extra call. So like especially if we're in an environment where we have like 12, 24, 36 hours for financing, um, well, we have to go get that information from the municipality. And sometimes it's really difficult, especially in rural or trying to get hold of someone at the city or trying to find that information out. Um, um, it just would really be helpful if the listings were complete and that part of that job was done and not using liability as a excuse for not filling that out. And second biggest pet peeve, going back to it, is we're in a big rush. Client writes an offer. I'm waiting for the offer to come in. Like I'll wait up till 10, 11 p.m. because I know sometimes it takes a while to get the signatures and the initials and the everything kind of done. And then I wake up next morning, I still don't have the offer. I message through to the realtor, hey, are we getting a copy of this offer? And then the offer rolls in like after they had a nice lunch at Moxie's at 2 p.m. And now I have like 4 hours to do the mortgage. I really think that being appreciative and aware of people's time are a huge part of this industry. And I know with all the realtors that we work with regularly, we have this really great relationship and nothing really slips under our radar. But anyone watching this who's a new realtor who wants to deal with us, like we have expectations too.
Yeah, I mean the teamwork goes both ways, right? We're usually really on the ball with our communications and the work that we do, so we kind of expect the same with from our realtor partners. It makes sense. Okay, last question. I'm going to flip that question over to you, Colton. What is something that a mortgage broker might do that will drive a realtor crazy?
Huh.
You're
I could think,
perfect.
well, I could think
Yeah.
of one. It's like when we do get, 5 days for financing and it takes the 5 days, right? I could see why that would be um, not challenging, but I could see where a little bit of frustration would set in. Um, Also, if we don't communicate, if the challenge has files and something that needs an extension, like it was kind of mentioned earlier, I think that would frustrate a realtor. Actually, I know it would. Like you said, getting an extension if needed, like that's a big thing in this industry, and being on top of that and understanding why and for how long we need it, I think that's super important and would solve some frustrations. I would say those are the two main ones off the top of my
Yeah.
head.
I hear updates too, like sometimes when a realtor comes to us, they'll complain that the bank that they were working with just didn't get back to them at all, like zero updates until the day of financing condition, and then they said, "Oh, it's declined," right? So I think constant updates are probably something, if we don't update them, that would be something that would stress them out.
Communication.
All right. Well, that'll wrap it up for today's episode of the Mainstream Mortgages Podcast. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening in. Please like, share, subscribe, all those YouTube algorithm fun things. And contact us if you have any questions or need help with your mortgage at greatrates@mainstreammortgages.com or 431 482 2187. Thank you and have a great day.